Up till now, we've been focusing mainly on the consumption function, and I've enjoyed it. Hopefully you have too. But now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk a little bit about savings. On the other side, if you remember, the only thing you can really do with your disposable income is either spend the money or you can save the money. So we also said that the marginal propensity to consume on our example in the book is 0.70, which means that once you get past an autonomous consumption level, you're going to be spending approximately 70 cents of every dollar. But what do you do with the rest of it? Well, guess what? You are saving that. So in this video, we're going to talk about planned savings, just like we did talk about planned consumption, and the marginal propensity to save. So here we see some of the same words, like this planned savings and this marginal propensity. We're only changing one word, and that's save over here. So what we're going to find is that this marginal propensity to save is kind of a more or less the brother or the sister of this marginal propensity to consume and that consumption function. So whereas on one side you have consumption, on the other side you have savings. And they're intertwined, they're related. And we're about to find that out. So what exactly is savings? Savings is the amount that you have left over out of your paycheck after you get done paying for everything, right? So you go out there, you get your paycheck, you spend all the money that you want to, and whatever you have left, you chunk that into savings. That is what savings is. It's disposable personal income, your income minus taxes, minus consumption. So we want to put it into a nice little formula. It's S minus DPI minus C, or savings minus disposable personal income. Our savings equals disposable personal income minus consumption. And there it is, all written out nice and pretty for you. That's essentially what it is. So then we have this nice little fancy phrase, marginal propensity to save. Just like the marginal propensity to consume, it means roughly the same thing, only we're going to change one little word. And we're going to change this word from consume to savings. So the marginal propensity to save is a change in savings associated with the change in disposable personal income. Well, we got this nice little formula again, including the deltas, that if you remember means to change. So we have the marginal propensity to save is the change in savings. How much did our savings change by as our disposable personal income has changed? So marginal propensity to save is change in savings associated with the change in disposable personal income. Now, if you remember back to the marginal propensity to consume and how we calculated that, we actually knew how much the consumption changed by, and we also knew how much their income had changed by, so we were able to just kind of plug it all in to come up with the marginal propensity to consume. But in this, we're actually going to go about this a different way. So remember that savings equals disposable personal income minus consumption. Remember, it's that little formula right there. We're bringing it right down into here. So we're going to substitute this into the marginal propensity to save formula, this little formula. So we're bringing in this formula right down into here. So we have savings is equal to that. So what we're doing actually is we're taking this formula and plugging it in right there where that S is. So what that means is, now that I got lines drawn all over the place, is marginal propensity to save is equal to the change in disposable personal income. So all we're doing is we're finding that the change in savings is equal to the change in disposable personal income minus the change in consumption, substituting this change of S, or this little part of the equation, in for this S right here. So now we have marginal propensity to save is equal to the change in disposable personal income minus the change in consumption divided by the change in disposable personal income. So now we're going to rearrange the values so that this marginal propensity to save is equal to the change in disposable income divided by change in disposable income minus the change in consumption divided by the change in disposable income. So how exactly did we do that? I'm going to do my best to try and write this formula out down here, and hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. So we have disposable personal income minus consumption, and I'm just leaving out the deltas for right now. Just understand that there is a change in disposable personal income minus change in consumption divided by the change in disposable personal income. Well, mathematically, because this is a subtraction sign right here, a minus, we can actually split this up into two aspects and keep the denominator the same. So what I mean by that is we can split this up to where we say disposable personal income divided by disposable personal income minus consumption over disposable personal income. So, what can we do with this formula? Now that we have this arranged out, what can we do with it? Well, first and foremost, anything divided by itself is considered 1. So we can cancel disposable personal income divided by disposable personal income to come out with 1. Just like we said right here, cancel out and re-identify. So the disposable personal income divided by change in disposable personal income is equal to 1. So this part right here is equal to 1. Now, change in consumption divided by the change in disposable personal income. Well, what is that equal to? Well, if you remember back to what marginal propensity to consume is, it is the change in consumption associated with the change in disposable personal income. And that formula for marginal propensity to consume is exactly the same as this marginal propensity to save, only the exception is marginal propensity to consume is equal to the change in consumption divided by change in personal income. Well, the change in consumption divided by change in personal income, well, that's what this is right here. So what we do is we're going to re-identify that. And we're actually going to say that this equation is equal to marginal propensity to consume, so that this marginal propensity to save is actually equal to 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume. Now just stop and think about that. We said that in our main example of this lesson that the marginal propensity to consume is 0.7, which means we're going to be spending 70 cents of every dollar after we exceed that autonomous consumption aspect. And if that's the case, then what are we going to do with the other 30 cents? We're going to save it. So that makes a lot of sense. That it's equal to the 1 minus a marginal propensity to consume, because whatever you're not going to do with that dollar and what you're not going to spend of that dollar, you're going to save it. So whenever you're calculating the marginal propensity to consume, you're going to take the calculated marginal propensity to consume. When you're calculating marginal propensity of savings, you're going to take the marginal propensity to consume, this MPC. So then you take the MPS equals 1 minus this MPC, so 1 minus 0.7, to where in our example out of the book, the marginal propensity to save is 30 cents. Woo! After all that, we finally got to it. So now we know how to calculate marginal propensity to save, and it's a heck of a lot easier because you're simply just calculating 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume. So the MPS is equal to 30 cents of every dollar. So that means we're saving 30 cents of every dollar, right? Well, not exactly. So you've got to remember back to that little phrase of autonomous consumption. Because some consumption occurs even at an income of 0, and there is some of this autonomous consumption that we have to kind of get over it first. We have to kind of get over this hump of we're spending so much money, even though our income might be virtually nothing, that we won't be saving 30 cents of every dollar exactly. So think about it this way. What if you need $1,500 to live? You absolutely need $1,500 to live. And then as your income increases by, say, 70 cents of every dollar that you make, that's how much you're going to consume. So what if you're making $1,000? So we're just going to plug in $1,000 right here. And that $1,000 times 0.7 is equal to 700. 700 plus is 1,500 is equal to 2,200. So we have 2,200. You're spending 2,200, but yet you're only making $1,000. So right there you have what's known as dis savings, which means we are not going to be saving 30 cents whenever we're already in the hole, whenever we're already spending more than we're saving or than we're earning. We're not going to be saving any of that money. And we'll go over a lot of that more in the very next video.